I can't believe it's been 10 years. Thanks for being here. I know this is longer than any video that I'll probably ever do on this channel, but this is a pretty special occasion for me. If you're not familiar, just a really brief overview. 10 years ago in 2010, on September 7th specifically, I released my debut commercial album. There was another one before that, but that's for another video. It changed my life. It was sold in Best Buy stores across the country. One of the songs was on Rock Band 2 for Xbox. Not to mention, I got to work with friends all around the country. So many people helped that album come together. It started my music career. So some friends are gonna help me celebrate the 10-year anniversary of my debut album, All About You, along with some surprises and even a few stories, although there's way more than I could fit in this video. In 2010, I was supposed to go on tour with a friend of mine, and at the last minute, they backed out. So I was at this crossroads of giving up myself or to keep forging ahead and see what happens. And I'm so glad that I decided to just put all my fears aside and go on tour anyway. In fact, the first song on this album was kind of an anthem to facing your fears. It's purposely left a little bit open-ended because even though it has some specific meanings to me, I wanted it to take on a value to anyone that listened that would be personal to them. I was working with an incredible producer, Richie Rubini, more about him later. This time was one of the first songs that I brought to him, although it was a very different song at that point. So I sat down on the piano and I played the song for him. And as soon as I got done playing, he was like, that chorus, that hook is awesome, and we just need to write a better song around that hook. And I was like, thank you? How? Thank you? And this was right before I went on a year-long nationwide tour, so I would draft up different demos and versions of the song and send them to him, and he would send notes back saying not quite, this idea might work, this might not. But it wasn't until I was in a tour stop in St. Louis and visiting my friend Dustin Abel, who's also a very talented musician. We sat down in his basement and tried our hand at rewriting the song. The demo I had at the time, I was playing piano, and so the bass notes were also on piano, and Dustin, who plays bass, was playing along with it. And when he went to go play it from memory after I stopped the demo, he actually played it a little bit differently than I had demoed. It sounded so good, we stopped and we looked at each other and were like, huh, that's really cool. That was the start of it, and the rest was kind of a blur. It just kind of kept rolling out. Long story short, we finished that demo that night, sent it to Richie, and almost immediately he was like, get back into town, we have to record this. This is the version of the song. So I headed back to the East Coast as soon as I could. I was in the studio with Richie, and he was like, okay, let's play the song one more time and just kind of work out how we're gonna arrange this. And I played the whole thing, and he sat back and paused, and he was like, this is a really great song, but we need a better chorus and a better hook. And I was like, that was the only thing we kept from the original song. And he was like, well, the thing is, you wrote so much of a better song around the thing we had before. Now this chorus and this hook has to rise to the level of the rest of the song. He was like, okay, don't overthink it, just feel it. And I want to say, if my memory serves me correctly, the first thing that happened was the version that you hear now. And what makes this song so special to me, and also my favorite on the EP, is that when I started writing it, it was actually about a breakup I had with a now ex-girlfriend, and how we would just kind of run through the same cycles until we decided to just change things. Because it went through so many rewrites, by the time I got to another rewrite, I was dealing with the friend that had backed out of touring with me, so then became a little bit about that. And then when I was actually on tour, I was gradually building my self-confidence and discovering my own personality. It built up over, because we had to draft it so many times, so many different experiences. It's not about just one experience. So by the time the song ends, you hear that descant chorus of It's All About You Now. I wanted that to hit home, even though this time would be the last time for toxic relationships, bad habits, whatever you fill in the blank with. It's all about you now. And it became my anthem to blossoming into me and discovering who I was and how I could contribute to the world by being the best version of me. And so this song to this day has so much meaning to me. I still catch myself listening to it every once in a while when I need to remind myself that I'm good enough and I'm worthy of pursuing my dreams and working my ass off as a songwriter. And I hope that you or anybody else that listens to it will find their purpose within this song. So to kick off this celebration of 10 years of this album and this opening track, instead of playing you the original version, which you can find on virtually any streaming service and also physical media, CD, vinyl, all that, my good friends Jill and Matt of Hot Breakfast are gonna play their version of this song. And I'm so excited because these guys are some of my favorite people, and it's such a dream come true to hear them cover a song that not only I wrote, but also means so much to me throughout so many years. So without further ado, please welcome Hot Breakfast. Hot Breakfast!
And so we've been here 1,000 times before. We talk about it like we wanted more. This time will be our last. This time will be our last. This time, this time, this time, this time, this time, this time. Late is what we go through, these motions to the world. Disregard apologies and what we're fighting for. This time will be our last. This time will be our last. This time, this time, this time, this time, this time, this time. This time will be our last. This time will be our last. This time will be our last. This time will be my last. This time, this time, this time. It's all about you. This time, this time, this time. It's all about you. This time, this time, this time. It's all about you now. This time will be. Happy anniversary, Rod. We love you very much, and we're so proud of all of your accomplishments. And we look forward to the next 10, 20, 30, 11 billion years. Do you have any idea how to turn the camera off?
None whatsoever.
Usually it's on the screen, and then
When I press my butt,
Jill, no, I think you're still recording.
you do. Is it this button here?
What are you doing?
Let her
You don't
rip.
literally, like,
See what happens.
shoot.
1, 2, 3.
Looks like they still haven't figured out the old camera equipment yet. Please go support those guys. More information on them in the description of this video. Let them know that I sent you, how much I love them, and how much you love them. Okay, so next up is arguably the song that, if you don't know me personally, or you didn't know me personally then, is How You Found Me. Because this is a song that was on Rock Band 2. It was the closing song for every tourist stop, and it's probably the song that I'm most well known for. It's called Tomorrow She's Mine. And I could do a whole other video about the stories behind this song, but this song is about getting out of your comfort zone and wanting more out of life, and to have the great adventure and to go out and see the world. And actually it's perfect because that's exactly what I did that year. And the references to John Cusack and Beauty and the Beast and just wanting to go on the road trip, like it's very much me. And that's something that makes me so happy, because I have this insecurity where I feel like that by default, like people don't like me. So to have something out there that embodies so much of who I am in a song that a lot of people really loved, it just really validated me and kind of gave me the courage and confidence and strength to keep going forward in music. So this also kind of became an anthem to like going out there, having the adventure, discovering yourself. So anytime I start to doubt my songwriting, me as a musician, or even just me as a person, I think of what a stark difference in journey it was from me on a Kurzweil keyboard writing that song in my apartment, all the way to it being on a freaking video game played by, I don't even know how many people played that game and that song. And it just reminds me that, hey, you have a purpose. You can't be afraid of it. You can't be afraid of failure, because you at least got to try. My life is a heartbroken John Cusack film about self-discovery. A best friend that don't quite get it and a girl that don't always want me. The story arc is overdone, but it's entertaining, yeah, it's entertaining. Give me a new name, new face, just please God change something. Cue the rain and life lesson. Got my boombox over my head, it's this again. Yeah, ooh. I need a change in scenery. Yeah, ooh. Do more to pass the time. Need a road trip, an old car, and a rearview to wave goodbye. 'Cause tomorrow, she's mine. She's mine. She's mine. So the next two tracks go together. Carp to My DM is an intro to She's Running, and the phrase Carp to My DM was actually coined by my good friend Mark Rogers, who is actually the guy who gave me my first ever radio airplay. And the reason we included the intro is because originally the song was written as a slow ballad and actually goes way back to when I was in college. So since this is one of the oldest songs I had, I thought it'd be fun to take a look at a clip of one of the early versions of it. So there's a longer version that's like almost 5 minutes long, and I don't want to make you suffer through that whole thing, but I thought it'd be fun to take a look at this clip of, I think this was the second time I ever played it live. At that time I thought wearing like a baggy light gray polo shirt was dressing up, and also having no stage presence was okay. But you get to see where the song came from. She's Running, the original version from, oh my god, was this 2005?
She runs into herself every night, walking down dim empty streets. She's finding more of herself every time, always fighting with what she sees. And she's crying, and she's hurting. Somewhere she's dying inside. She's running, she can't get away. She's needing all the words to say. She's running, she's running, she's running.
So the next song, arguably, is the one that kind of started it all. On this project I had mentioned a couple times already that was before this album, I had this song called By Now, and I had just started gigging, and I was playing at Dewey Beach, Delaware at the Rusty Rudder on the deck of like the outdoor bar area. Played to probably 4 or 5 people, including the bartenders, but one of those people was producer Richie Rubini. And after I got done with my set, he walked up to me and he was like, "Hey, that one song, that was really good." He was talking about By Now. And long story short, he really helped me become a better songwriter because he wasn't afraid of asking more of me, knowing that it was there. I remember talking about that song By Now, and I was like, "Yeah, so what'd you think of the other ones?" And he was like, "So you're talented, and that song is really great, but your biggest issue is that otherwise you don't write great songs." Even though that sounds like it would hurt, it was the truth, and he knew that there was more to me and that I had more in me and better things in me. So if anything, he taught me how to express myself more effectively, and I could never thank you enough for that, Richie. If you're watching this, I never forget that moment. I appreciate you so much.
Where I am, who I've been, phone
weak, arms twisted by my side. And after all these years with you, and after all that we've been through, you think we know by now. Yeah, you think we know by now. And after all the here and there, and after all the lost nowhere, you think we know by now. Yeah, you think we know by now. This next song is called Coming Home, and it was a song that I had written for my best friend's wedding. I think it was right before his wedding that I had asked him, how did you know? He said something to the effect of, I just can't remember what my life was like before her. And the 9-to-5 job and all that is worth it because I get to come home to her every day. And that really stuck with me because I just kind of imagined that it was a modern day, like, knight slaying a dragon, you know, like the 9-to-5 job was where the battlefield, and then when he like left that and came home, it was all okay because that was the place he was fighting for. So this song is my observation of their relationship, and to help me celebrate the song is my good friend Sophie Pecora. You might recognize her from America's Got Talent, YouTube, Billie Eilish, like a whole number of things. She's so talented beyond her years. After this video, if you're not already, go support her and everything she's doing in social media and music. Sophie Pecora's version of Coming Home. And even this many years later, Don and Jeb, this one's for you.
Funny thing how life works out, and I could tell you all about it, but you already know. You and me, we keep it simple, laugh and cry and live a little, yeah, we hang on high or low. Every morning I'll wake up just to make it to work on time, doing what I gotta do to survive. It's a 9-to-5, but I'll be alright as long as I know I can wake up every morning with you. I know that I'm not perfect, still you love it when I try. I know it's hard to do, but that 9-to-5's worth coming home to you. You know me, I just can't hide it. I love you and just can't fight it. My world's not complete without you. Like a day in mid-November, I'm kinda gray and not quite centered yet. Somehow we broke through. We pay our bills so we can turn on the lights. Another day, another dollar just to make it right. We'll make it right. It's a 9-to-5, but I'll be alright as long as I know I can wake up every morning with you. And I know that I'm not perfect, still you love it
finally here at the closing track of the album. It's pretty much just a straight up piano ballad, but it really summed up my experiences on tour in 2010, where even though I was having so many great experiences, getting to see friends and make new friends on the road, because I was traveling so much, with every hello and meeting, there was a goodbye. If you know me, you know that that's probably one of the most awkward times. I mean, I'm awkward in general, but saying goodbye is probably one of the most awkward experiences when you're around me or on the phone or whatever. And that year, there were so many goodbyes. And since anthems are kind of the running theme through this album, this song is kind of the anthem to those times in relationships, not just romantic, but also family and friends or whatever else, that your paths aren't lining up anymore and you know you got to say goodbye. And sometimes that means things are rough and sometimes it means that they're not. But somewhere in the back of your head, you're kind of hoping, I hope we run into each other again someday, you know, in whatever capacity that is, and I wish you well. And so it can get kind of heavy sometimes, and this was kind of in remembrance of that. When we were recording this song though, we did it all in one take. I played piano and sang at the same time. The studio is soundproof, so you can't really hear what's happening on the outside. So I remember hitting the last chord of that song and looking up into the control room and seeing Richie. He's doing this because he wants me to just hold the note, let it ring. And then we hear this rumble of thunder, and we left it in the recording. I remember he just kept holding it until the rumble died off. And then he stopped and he's like, fuck yeah, that's it. If you listen to the headphones, you listen really carefully and you have enough bass, you can actually hear thunder closing the album out. So to help me celebrate the closing track, Awkward Goodbye, are not only two of the first people that I met when I moved to LA, but also two of my closest, dearest friends, Swoop and Dirty Hollywood, in a much cooler version of my sad little song.
I can't find a reason
please, please, please go check out Swoop on YouTube. She's a very talented creator and filmmaker. And Dirty Hollywood, no joke, my favorite producer in LA. He's so talented. Go support him and his music on all the music platforms and encourage him to release all the other music that he's done the world hasn't heard yet. Dirt, you hear me? These two are so talented, and in a sea of fake faces in Los Angeles, some of the most genuine people that you could ever meet. So hey, we made it. Thank you so much for being here, celebrating 10 years of my debut album, All About You. Thank you to Hot Breakfast, Sophie Pecora, Swoop, and Dirty Hollywood. And to everyone that helped me make this album, thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough. And to everyone that listened to it and bought it and supported it, you mean so much to me. And please, if you had anything to do with making this album, or you were at any shows or listened to it or have any memories, please share that in the comments below. I would love to reminisce with you. This was such a huge cornerstone of my life, and I'm so happy to be able to share this milestone with you, especially under current circumstances. Please go follow, subscribe, and support all the incredible talent that helped me make this video. Next week, we go back to normal videos, whatever that is for this channel, so subscribe if you want more of that randomness. And if you want to check out all the original versions of the songs you heard today, links are in the description for Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. Thank you so much for watching, and even if it's not one of mine, I hope that you have a song or find a song that hears you.
Yeah, I need a change in scenery.
That can actually be a really cool outro catchphrase. What do you think, Lucy? Thank you for being so patient while I was doing that.
Need a road trip.